We're focused on that investigation this morning into the shooting last night. Can you tell us anything new?
Just had a briefing from Detective Chief Aubrey, who's leading that investigation. We feel we'll wrap it up very quickly. We have a pretty good idea of what happened. The crazy world of the so-called rap artists, who are basically thugs that basically celebrate the violence they've lived all their lives. And unfortunately, that violence oftentimes manifests itself during their performances. And that's exactly what happened last evening.
You know, it's been a long time since we've seen any kind of problems in the rap world or in the thug culture that has been so prominent and so violent. It's been a long time in New York City. Did you think you left that behind when you were police commissioner first time back in the 90s?
Not at all. We made an arrest last year, a character that's still basically awaiting trial. That him and his cast of characters were involved in a whole series of crimes and shootings that we allege. No, this world has not reformed. It's unfortunate.
And in fact, the rapper T.I., two-time Grammy winner, and also had been in jail before. This must have been someone who knew him, was associated with him, because from what we hear, it happened backstage in the green room, or the start of it anyway, right?
You make my case in terms of T.I. That we have a pretty good idea of what happened, and we'll put it together very quickly. But it's unfortunate that, there's no denying that for a lot of people, these talented artists, they enjoy the music. Music, unfortunately, oftentimes celebrates.
Wow, Blue. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Production, UGR TV. Blue, you just heard that, man. The NYPD police commissioner. His statement, the so-called world of hip-hop, where these thugs are celebrating violence that they pretty much just live their whole life, that they're used to. We know about being politically correct and knowing how they feel about us, underneath all of that shit. But this dude just came out and said, hip-hop culture is a bunch of animals. Might as well say black people and Hispanics are a bunch of animals, savages. So we got to do what we got to do to contain the animals in the zoo. You heard the audio for yourself. Blue Pill, what's your take on that, man? So a lot of people don't like hearing it from.
Again, as we are entering this post-Obama world, there's no longer a need for them to reserve their opinions or their judgment of us. He's just echoing the sentiments that you hear on Fox News every day. He's echoing the mindset of the old administration that he served under, which was Giuliani. Feel me? So I find that as no surprise. You know what I'm saying? That the actual real thugs in the game, okay, they're putting on suits and what have you, and they're able to hide behind the uniform, whereas they're criminalizing, okay, the quote-unquote hip-hop uniform and the hip-hop culture. Now, on the flip side of things, okay, we can take a step back and we can take a look objectively at what's being seen and what's being shown and how this actual story is coming across, all right? And we can look at the fact that we do belong to a death culture. I don't know if we want to necessarily call it a thug culture, because Thug Life died with Tupac, you know what I'm saying? But we're looking at the fact that we are participants in a death culture, all right, a culture that has seen it's cannibalizing itself. So, we kind of make ourselves prime targets for people like this to come along from the outside looking in, and they have these particular sentiments, you know what I'm saying? And hip-hop is just, at this particular point in time, it's just too easy of a target not to miss.
Now, you was mentioning, what was going on with Bill Bratton in L.A.? You mentioned something, you're talking about thugs that putting on suits. What was going on? Because we know about Bill Bratton in the 90s in New York.
Yeah, Bill Bratton in the 90s in New York was out here thugging, you know what I'm saying? He was a gangster out here. And he got transported to LA and they churned it up out there. You know what I'm saying? This was post Rodney King. You feel me? So they put a lot of shit in check. A lot of people disappeared. They said it's a lot of bodies buried in the desert out there. And that was the game that he played. The injunctions, the gang injunctions. So the gang injunctions is pretty much where they have one area that's heavily infested with gang culture, you know what I'm saying? Or a gang might be from a particular block. So the gang injunction criminalizes everyone in that area, all right? And they criminalize the entire surroundings of that area. So it's like, you know, 8 to 10 block radius of that particular area all gets put into the gang injunction. So if you from one gang or one neighborhood that's affiliated with a gang and you're caught in another neighborhood, then you're gonna get locked up. So they're restricting people's freedom of movement based on affiliation, based on an address, based on where they live. They didn't even necessarily do anything. So that's how they put LA in the smash, you know what I'm saying? And he used a lot of other aggressive methods, you know what I'm saying, to stamp out what we would consider gang culture in Los Angeles. And then, of course, he came back here, you know, and we see what was going on by way of, you know, he was having a lot of arguments in the public with Ray Kelly about the broken window policy versus stop and frisk and all of these things. But all of these policies, if we look at them, you know what I'm saying, all of these policies, like I said, dealing with presidential administrations as well as mayoral administrations in the city. Mayoral administrations in the city is just, how can you keep niggas in check, okay? How could you keep niggas in check and lower taxes? That's mayoral administration, you know what I'm saying? So we already see how he came here and started turning things up, you feel me? In regards to their response to certain, you know, when the protests started turning up with, what's our brother's name? Eric Gardner,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got caught up in a dragnet, you feel me, where they told people that they could no longer protest or occupy sidewalks. They had to be in, or they couldn't be in the street protesting. So again, stifling people's right to protest and swapping everybody up. People that are just randomly walking in the street got locked up, 143 people. So these are the policies, this is the Gestapo policies that these people are able to pull over the populace. And the fact that they got on a suit and tie, we don't look at them as thugs, we don't look at them as gangsters, you know what I'm saying? We still think that these people got our best interests at hand when it's always an anti-nigga policy in place.
Now, I want to read to you the top Billboard. Now, he says it's a thug culture. You didn't agree with him on that, but you said you feel as though it's a deaf culture. I want to read to you the top hip-hop song streaming all over the country, not just New York. Billboard charts. Number 1, Designer Panda.
Yeah.
I don't really see thug culture in that. Top song in the country.
Okay.
Number 2, Drake, One Dance. I don't see thug culture in that. Now this is hip hop and R&B. Number 3, Rihanna, Work, featuring Drake. No thug culture in that. Number 4, Rihanna Needed Me. No thug culture in that. Number 5, Drake Pop Style. No thug culture in that. Number 6, Controller, Drake. No thug culture in that. Number 7, Future Low Life. No thug culture in that. Those two guys definitely aren't thugs. Number 8, Drake Hype. No thug culture. Number 9, Ghost Town DJs My Boo. No thug culture. Kevin Gates 2 Phones. You could say that's somewhat thug culture. Can you? If you want to call it that. Number 11, Jeremiah, We, no thug culture. 12, Drake Too Good, no thug culture. Number 13, G-Eazy, Me, Myself, and I, no thug culture. Number 14, Drake Still Here, no thug culture. 15, Drake Grammys, no thug culture. Future. And we're gonna end it there. But these are just the top 15 songs in rotation on the radio, getting streamed online in the country. There's really not no thug culture going on there. So, do you think it's unfair to label even yourself to say it's a deaf culture? Do you think it's a little unfair, or you're tainted by the 90s to still say that when I just read to you the top songs in the country?
We're not gonna be, you know what I'm saying, oblivious to what it is that we're listening to and what exactly is going on. You know what I'm saying? Mention Future, you didn't put it in thug culture. You know what I'm saying? My dude is Taliban, like he's clear about what the fuck he represents. You know what I'm saying? I listened to the Monster mixtape. I know he got the Tupac song on there. He's very much, you know, about keeping thug life alive and what have you. You know what I'm saying? He's thugging to death. You know what I'm saying? And you know, my dude designer, I don't want to put him in that wave necessarily, but you know, he's sipping codeine out of Fanta, so it's you know, we can't say that particular, you know what I'm saying? He got the chopper going Oscar for Grammys, like, you know, like it might not be what we consider quote unquote thuggin'. It might not be what we consider quote unquote the whole aspects of it might not be Spice One deaf culture, it might not be MCA's deaf culture, you know what I'm saying? But it is the promotion of a very irresponsible lifestyle that I just came from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? And they got 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds in the lean houses out there, you know what I'm saying? On every drug in the cabinet that you could think of. Totally turned, soulless, zombies, you feel me? There's no life in that, you know what I'm saying? These little ones will take your life in a drop of a hat, and this is the soundtrack music that they jamming to. Everything the designer mentions in that song, these little ones out here is trying to, you know what I'm saying? They mixing them drugs up and they trying them things. So we got to be very careful as to the subtleness of what we're listening to. And we're just thinking the songs are good songs. Now Drake, I can't really speak for. I didn't really hear none of them songs. You know what I'm saying? I ain't hear his album, so I can't speak on that. But you know, we know that don't necessarily represent the culture per se. A lot of those artists that you mentioned, Drake included, that shit is R&B. You know what I'm saying? Rihanna's R&B. Drake's R&B. You know what I'm saying? It's rap and butter. I don't know what category you can put it in. You feel me? But I mean, for the most part, yeah. You know.
Well, let me.
When we're talking about a situation that just jumped off, when we're talking about the shooting that took place, you know. The footage obviously came out, you know what I'm saying? We seen Troy Ave putting in that work. You know, Uncle Murder and Mano was on stage getting it in, you know what I'm saying, performing cuts from their CD, Yellow Tape. We know what this shit represents. I'm not gonna get on camera and be pussyfooting just for the audience out there to be like, okay, you know what I mean? You know what time it is, and if you don't, I suggest that you do some research. You feel me? We know what the hell we talk about when we talk about we are participants of a deaf culture. So I would just say, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just dig a little bit deeper, do some research. It's popping on this block. God damn.
So being that hip hop culture is the most influential culture in the world, the media use it to market their products more than any other culture I have ever seen. I mean, year after year after year, there's rap songs in these commercials. So with that being said, and it being influential, and you saying these little ones that kill you at the drop of a dime listening to this type of music, why don't you think the other races seem to know, maybe I'm wrong, that this is more so entertainment, and after they listen to Bobby Shmurda, they go back to living their normal lives?
Yeah, I mean, because for them, they can enjoy it as entertainment. For us, those bullets are real. We can't say that, you know, what Big L was talking about was entertainment. You know what I'm saying? We can't necessarily say that what Uncle Murder's talking about is entertainment. We can't necessarily say that what Shmurda was talking about was entertainment. You feel me? These are soundtracks to their lives because they was told that they are participating in an art form that you have to be real in. You gotta bring it. You know what I'm saying? It's not fitting for you just to put on the caricature of these particular these characters and not have something behind it. We want the real. You feel what I'm saying? We want the real. So, and this is no disrespect. I'm just making an observation based on some things that have taken place in our community as of lately. At the same time, there could be a lynch mob looking for Bambaataa because he's affected some young children. He touched some young boys, and them young boys gotta live with that shit for the rest of their life. They gotta carry that badge, you know what I'm saying? And it's thought that that particular action has destroyed the lives of these young children. But at the same time, Poppy took some lives, but he's a real one. You know what I'm saying? He's a real one. You feel me? He put people in the dirt, but he's a real one. We celebrate that. That's okay. Touching little boys, that's not okay. So they live in a slow death, but the fast death, we celebrate that. We have a place in our society where that shit is accepted. We dig that, all right? And then the shooters, the ones that's putting in work, ain't no crackers going in the ground. You know what I'm saying? It's none of that is an extension of the revolutionary spirit that existed in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. All right? We're looking at a situation where we cannibalize ourselves in these communities. And yeah, we got soundtrack music to celebrate that shit. And the ones who put the most work in are the ones that we elevate to the highest that we celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it 100.
Do you think, since you're saying this is the soundtrack to black culture and it's being celebrated, do you think the Italians celebrate when The Sopranos is the #1 show on television, cable or prime or regular TV? Do you think they're celebrating their deaf culture, or do you think they're looking at it as entertainment? But you're saying for some reason we celebrate it as deaf culture.
I really can't say 100%. You know, I've never really heard Italian rap or, you know, whatever Italian falsettos or sopranos or.
Well, not in terms of music, but in terms of you watch The Sopranos, you go out and you mimic what you see on TV. Next thing you know, a year later in the news, we hear about mafias making big deals and getting arrested and chopping heads off and foots and mailing it to another person. We didn't hear about that after Sopranos was on TV. We didn't even hear about an increase in Italian on Italian crime.
At the time of the ascension of Sopranos as an episode, what we got was an increase of them taking down mafia factions. And all of these things were due to snitching. So there was some integral things that happened in the infrastructure of the mafia, right? They removed certain pieces where that code of silence was no longer code, and they took them all down while that series was escalating to a height of popularity. But there was a lot of discussions taking place, you know, in their community and abroad about glorification of Italians, you know what I'm saying, and entertainment. And there was mad associations that was coming out saying they was trying to kibosh that shit, like, no, we ain't for that. You need to take that off TV. That's not what Italians is about. So they got people that's fighting against that. You feel me? They got people that's saying that ain't who we are. We need another look. They got that. So, you know, what do we have as a counterpart on this side? We got Al Sharpton saying that they're gonna bury the N-word and shit like that. But what about members of this community that's saying Black Lives Matter, or quote unquote, we going all out for the children? But you letting your children be abused every single day. You letting your children be molested every single day by this music. You know what I'm saying? These are the same artists that will take a chunk of change out of the community based on them putting this music out, not expose their children to this lifestyle, send them to school upstate. They'll never have to participate in these environments, but still make this music that's talking about these past experiences, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll subject your children to that. That shit is molestation. It's audio molestation. It's abuse. You feel me? And this is what the children gotta listen to on their way to school. This is what they gotta listen to coming home from school. This is what they gotta listen to every fucking hour of the day when that radio was on. And then we expect them to, you know, we expect different results. We expect something else to come out of that. And that's ludicrous, man. Like, at what point are we gonna draw the line and say, enough is enough? You see what you're getting out of this. You're getting nothing else other than what you're getting out of this. But we refuse, you know what I'm saying, to draw the line and say enough is enough.
Now, half the people hearing this will say you sound Bill O'Reilly-ish. They're saying Blue is on his Bill O'Reilly shit. Bill talks about hip-hop as much as he can, similar to what you just saying. The other half of people will say Blue Pill's keeping it real. So, you know, you got 50-50 there. People gonna say what they're gonna say. With that in mind,
you know me.
With that in mind, do you think we just don't like hearing a white person say it? Because there are a lot of people who got out there, Angie Martinez, dudes on the internet, they totally objected to what the police commissioner said, but you seem to share similar sentiments to him. So do you think it's we just don't like hearing it from a white mouth? Because it seems like such a contradiction?
Yeah, I'm just saying that we don't keep it real to a point where we say we're gonna draw a line, you feel me? Because, you know, we don't have that enough is enough button to say, oh, this is fucked up, but then, you know, not have a full conversation, a full-on conversation about, okay, well, what can we possibly do about this? You know what I'm saying? They want to put the onus is on Urban Plaza security. but the onus is not on the mindset. You know what I'm saying? The onus is never on the culture. The onus is always on somebody else. So we are all part of a victim culture. We are all part of this culture where everyone want to pass the buck and nobody wants to take responsibility. We know this. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know this, this is part of the problem. You know? So I'm not necessarily siding with the police commissioner. I'm just saying, let's keep it real with one another for once in a, you know, once in a chance. Let's just keep it real to say, you know what? Like, T.I. was gonna talk about or rap about shooting people when he got on stage. Uncle Murder and Mano was talking about maiming niggas on stage. You feel me? But then when the shit perpetuates itself, you know what I'm saying, in the audience or around you, and everybody's surprised, you know? Troy Ave was talking about that powder on stage. You feel me? What comes with that lifestyle? You know what I'm saying? Do we need to be reminded? So for those of us that have grown up in these neighborhoods, that have seen what the fuck is connected to that lifestyle, nigga, you know what when you saw the energy that you bring it into the room. So when the shit show itself, why are we so surprised? Why are we so surprised? I seen a video on Vice Media of a dude, a rapper performing in Brazil, and he got clipped on stage. I'm fucking surprised that I never seen that at a concert. Surprised. Just based on the fact the way the New York hate on artists, I'm surprised niggas ain't pull out and clap an artist on stage. I'm like dumbfounded. You feel me? This is what I expect. So the fact that I haven't even seen that, I know that we ain't even reach our full threshold of ratchetness. So niggas shooting up the show, niggas been shooting up shows. Niggas been getting hit up. You know what I'm saying? This is nothing new. You feel me? It could have been way worse. You know? So, but when we're gonna address what is at the root of this, what's dealing with the psychology of a people that's showing up to the shows with ratchets, and we know what's behind that psychology. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need me to tell you and to give you a whole hour interview to explain to you what's behind that psychology. If you don't know by now, then you're tripping.
Would you say, are you in favor of censoring art? Or do you think, you know, like Tupac, for example, a lot of quote unquote, let's say as much of a genius as he was, one of the greatest artists of all time, a lot of conscious, quote unquote, conscious people would have put that fire out a long time ago, would have said, we don't need this thug life, this, all of this. So it's almost like, you know.
I don't think that they would have said that. The hate you give little infants fucks everybody. People don't know what thug life is. That's the issue. That's the issue. They running around with this term, and they weren't there when this shit developed. Like, I remember when he introduced that. He was talking about a 50-state program. He got handed his marching orders from Tulu. There was a plan behind that. There was a directive
C. Dolores Tucker.
You know what I'm saying?
There were blacks, C. Dolores Tucker, that didn't approve of his music.
I said C. Dolores Tucker didn't approve of his music. I am saying that we don't understand what thug life was. So the fact that you had your C. Dolores Tuckers and the fact that you had your Al Gores, they heard thug and they responded to that. They seen a brother with tattoos and they responded to that. They were looking at it through a moral standpoint, you know what I'm saying, in Christian eyes, and that's what they were responding to. I'm just saying, us as a people, to this day, we don't understand what thug life was about. You know what I'm saying? I've heard interviews of his that I've never heard in the community. No one playing. You talking about, you questioned me if you said the conscious community. We're not talking about C. Dolores. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the niggas in the conscious community don't even know what the fuck thug life is about. Or they'd have picked that shit up once he fell. It was a program. It was a program. It was for political power. He was talking about, if you niggas are shaking on the block, there needs to be one day out of the week that you don't shake. And we're gonna take those proceeds and we're gonna put it towards community programs. He was talking about unifying all of the dons throughout the 50 states. He was talking about ultimately what Big Meech did. But he was talking about it politically. He was talking about actually garnering the energy of these people that we know are already in the elements, they in the streets. Now how do you politicize that? How do you bring these people together to wake them up, to show them the power that they really have? Because if you can organize and lock a block down and get everybody in line in formation, then chances are you can actually do some real things. That's what he was talking about.
Real quick.
So the fact that we have this low scale of education, the fact that we respond to words that we don't understand, is why we in these particular predicaments. That's why this shit is running amok. Hip hop don't have no parents, okay? And then even what we going through right now, understanding about the origins of hip hop, understanding about the grand council of this shit. You feel me? None of this shit surprises me. You feel me? This shit is run amok. Why? You be the fucking judge. Like, this is not a guessing game anymore. You should know why it's run amok. You know what I'm saying? This shit was corrupt to begin with. So we see what we see. Yeah, we've had some bright moments in this culture. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, man, this is a death culture. All right, now who's gonna argue that? You gonna keep throwing Drake at me? Who else you got? Who else you got?
Now, all right, last question, Blue. Let's say, now you Blue Pill.
Yes.
Everybody know Blue Pill by now, who watch YouTube, who's into any type of consciousness.
They might.
You all over YouTube. Let's say, you know, and you do music. Let's say, you know, Bill Bratton, he happened to mention Bobby Shmurda. He didn't say his name, but he was talking about him, about how he got him and his, forgot what he called them, his crew, forgot, but he had a name, but he said they got picked up a year ago. Let's say young dude, 18, called him up to you, yo, Blue, man, I got this music, this shit is real, this is the shit I'm living, I want to put out a music video. Can you release it on KTL? You listen to it, you know this is what this youngster's really about. He ain't no CB4 gangster. What do you tell this young man that comes to KTL, you in red, and wants to release some music? You're from the streets, it ain't like you grew up a square, so you could definitely understand what the brother's talking about, where he's coming from. What do you tell that brother? What's different that you gonna tell him from what the record labels would tell him? Bobby Shmurda type dude. GS9.
I probably don't have the desired demographics that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? My platform might not be the best thing for you. You might want to take that to Rap Radar. You might want to take that to Hip Hop DX. You know what I'm saying? You might want to go see Sonetta. You feel me? But I don't really see how that would connect with my audience necessarily. You're not gonna get the desired look that you're looking for unless you're looking for constructive criticism. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're looking for, you know, that level of input from the OGs that's gonna have you tailor your message differently. You know what I'm saying? When I was an executive up at Sony handling a project for them of a certified official tissue gangster, all right, Nipsey Hussle, and we were dealing with his project, the only thing that made me comfortable dealing with his project is this brother he was conscious. You know what I'm saying? This brother had a level of consciousness that, not the shit that I identify with, that they've created this quote unquote community, that shit is church. You know what I'm saying? It's just another form of church. But he has street consciousness, he has street knowledge. So he was able to incorporate his message. I knew where his heart was. You know what I mean? So even if he mixed up, and you know, this was the very first time I heard Turned Up in public. You know what I'm saying? That was the name of the documentary. We called it Turned Up, because that's the jargon and terminology that they was using. So even if he was turned in his music, I knew that he was gonna balance it out with a message. And that's where hip hop was. You know what I'm saying? Like I've explained to people, when hip hop started, you had the message, and then you had the Soul Sonic Force, party and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And hip hop is a convergence of somewhere in between the two. You gotta balance it out. You gotta have your message, and you gotta have your party and bullshit, because that's who we are as a people.
Sort of like, so you like how Money and Violence was able to balance it out with the message and,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where we at.
Right.
That's where we at as a people. Let me ask you this. You know what I'm saying? Where were the thugs at in the 60s? Where were the thugs at in the 50s? Where were they at? So this is the modern construct. It's obviously a social experiment. You know what I'm saying? It's been engineered. You know what I'm saying? You can identify any thugs that we had in the 50s or the 60s. Those brothers was revolutionaries, even the ones in the civil rights movement, okay? They were still revolutionary. To a degree, their degree, all right? There's different degrees in the spectrum. So they was revolutionary in their approach. They wanted change. They had a clear goal and directive of where they wanted to go, and they was willing to sacrifice You know what I'm saying? Somewhere along the way, we have lost that. You know what I mean? And we got this music that we could account for, and we have supplanted, you know, our goals and objectives for what we are now calling culture, and there is no end game in sight. You know what I'm saying? Where is it taking us? What's the end game? Is it really built on love, truth, peace, happiness, and having fun? We know that that shit is a lie now. Okay, so what's the foundation? What is it built on? You feel me? Once you remove a foundation of something, what is it standing on? Okay, so is hip hop really illusionary? Is it a farce? All along. It has no parents. Okay? So you got children making their own rules up. You feel me? You got children just doing what they do. And we had no parents in the house. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we had as a quote-unquote culture. And we gotta sort this shit out. Because, you know, yeah, we looking crazy on the international stage. And the door's wide open, and it's inviting people to come around and be critical of the art form, because we have nobody that can step up and speak for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of seeing Common speak for the culture. I'm tired of seeing why these niggas that is about that life don't speak on it. Defend your fucking life. Defend your deaf culture. Speak on it. You know what I'm saying? We don't need Common speaking on it. We don't need Talib speaking on it. You niggas are so versatile with your art form, you get up there and speak on it. You defend that shit. You get on Bill Riley and tell him that you about that life. You let that thing bang. You know what I'm saying? Your chopper go Oscar for Grammys and all of that. Like, let him know what the fuck that mean. Look that white man in his eye and tell him where your revolutionary mindset stands. Okay? That you would kill a nigga to drop a track for it. Tell him that. Stand on that shit, man.
Before we close out, I definitely want to give a shout out to Big L. This is 140th in Lenox for those who are out of town.
Yes, rest in peace, Big L.
In Harlem. And one of the greatest lyricists ever.
Greatest, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying, like, we don't pause to say, yo, that's a fucking tragedy. You know what I'm saying? We don't pause to say how many of our geniuses have been taken by senseless violence. We just celebrated B.I.G.'s birthday, his 44th birthday last weekend. You know, when I say that we are living in B.I.G.'s dream, look at the lineup, you know what I'm saying? Look at the lineup, all the way up into the incident that happened yesterday. All of those was Brooklyn artists. That's a Brooklyn beef that took place. You know what I'm saying? So you got your Uncle Murders, you got your Manos, you know what I'm saying? You got your designers, you got your Troy Ave. All of that is coming out of the vein of that Bed-Stuy movement. All of it is an extension of that brother's sacrifice. Those 3 or 4 years that he put in, he's cast a shadow so fucking far and wide that we continuously are seeing the reverberations of it. But we lost that brother way too soon from gunshots, from unnecessary violence, you know what I'm saying? Arguably one of the best lyricists in the game. So all of these people that we say is the best lyricists in the game, and we continuously losing them to violence, at what point are we gonna say, you know what? Damn, violence might be our biggest enemy, because the shit has snatched moments from us that we can never get back. It took our best and our greatest from us. But no, we ain't about that. We not talking about stamping that shit out. We not talking about addressing, well, what's the roots and the causes of this violence. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? We about money and violence. You know, we more American than Europeans at this particular point. We all got blood in our mouths. Feel me? Red-blooded fucking American niggas. Okay? That's what the fuck this shit is about. And I apologize for using this language, because I met so many children out in Atlanta this weekend. Alright? So this is how you juxtapose the experience. Yeah, I might have found out about the 12 and the 13-year-olds that are running the lean house. I might have found out about the 12 and the 13-year-olds that are using every drug in the cabinet, but I also encountered 8-year-olds. I also encountered 4-year-olds that watch all of these videos and that are learning and got that look in their eye of seriousness. They need some soundtrack music. You know what I mean? And it don't need to be preachy. It needs to be catchy. It needs to be dope. It needs to be just like Panda. It needs its own dance and everything. But it needs to be rooted in a different vibration. You know what I'm saying? Where they're not thinking about drinking lean out of Fanta and everything of that nature. So we owe it to the children, man. We had these press conferences. We talking about we're gonna protect the babies, man. The babies. It's about these children. We don't want the children to be molested. No. New Era Detroit, shout out to them. They protecting the babies. They walking the babies to school every day and walking them babies back from school every day. They are activists doing something active. You know, we gotta move beyond just talking about this shit. You put your child in that car in the morning and you turn that motherfucking radio on, you're assaulting your child. You're abusing that baby. You're molesting their minds, okay? They don't stand a chance dealing with that vibration. If I can't get that shit out of my head and I don't want it there, what the hell you think is happening with them? What you think is happening with them? And I got a nephew, and I can only keep it 100. My nephew, he's exposed to that music. You know what I'm saying? He's exposed to that music. And it's almost like he's a Memorex. Like, he just got to hear it once, and he knows it. So I know if his mind is working like that, and you talking about these babies as crystals, indigos, and everything else, then come on, man. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. They don't only understand the lyrics, man. They are resonating with the vibration that's in that music. Okay? Like, let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? So if you really care about these babies, man, just take a closer look at the music, at the culture, and all of that, man. We owe it to these babies. They deserve more. You feel me? Even when we were growing up, we had a balance. And that's the thing that we keep talking about was our saving grace. It was the golden era. Yeah. You gotta understand, most importantly, man, I love my people, all right? And the only way to get through to my people is to keep it real. I'm not gonna get up here and dance for you, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna speak from my heart, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'll get on that sacrificial, that cross if need be. It don't matter, we gotta get this information out, we gotta speak truth, and leave it at that.
Peace, family. This brother Rich from UGR. Urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figured since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I could ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.